Senator Thompson, earlier this week you were asked about your lobbying years ago for Planned Parenthood, the nation's largest abortion provider, and you were quoted as saying that was private life, as if to dismiss the question. Can you explain to us what you meant by that and why it would make a difference?
No, what I hope I said was that it was my private law practice as opposed to my public service. I was a member of a firm of counsel to a large firm, and it was their client. They asked me to do a little work on it. I made a few calls, and that was that. Frankly, I'd forgotten about it. But they've come forward now because I'm their worst nightmare. After that happened, I went to the United States Senate and voted consistently against them on every bill that came up. Now they're trying to defeat me.
Senator McCain.
In favor of the No Child Left Behind law, though critics warned that it was too intrusive, too bureaucratic. They also warned that teachers would teach to the test.
Yeah.
Now you say all those things are true. Yeah. Was your vote a mistake, and how would you change No Child to correct those problems?
Yeah, I did vote for it, and some of those critics were right, and some of us were wrong. What has happened is that indeed states have taught to the test. We've not gotten the transparency and the accountability that we thought we were getting. I like the idea of testing, but the tests have to mean something. You can't be like Lake Wobegon where all the children are above average. You know, everybody's, makes 90 on the test. You're not learning very much. I think what we need to do is realize the proper role of the federal government. The federal government only is responsible for about 8% of what is spent. We need to concentrate on helping the states, making sure that 8% is spent wisely. But there are a lot of good things going on at the state level. In terms of free markets, in terms of competition, the things that work in the rest of our society, vouchers, charter schools, things of that nature. States ought to be allowed to experiment and do the things that they know at best at the state and local level. And we can't lay all this at the feet of any government. We have to accept some hard truths. Part of the problem in our education system and with our children has to do with the societal breakdown that's going on in this country. We need more fathers.
Senator Thompson, you trail Clinton by 12 points in our latest poll. You said the other day that Republicans don't need to worry so much about Clinton as much as they need to worry about themselves. What do you mean by that?
Well, just what I said. Hillary is always a good applause line, and almost everything everybody's said has been accurate. If we go down that road, we're going to go down the road of higher taxes. Hillary basically says that 40% of the people pay about 99% of the taxes. Why not 30% of the people? Why not 20% of the people? We're going to have a windfall when the tax cuts expire at the end of 2010. Let's use that money our way. We'll go down the road of higher spending, where people are told, don't worry about your kids, don't worry about the next generation, although we're clearly bankrupting them with regard to our Social Security and Medicare expenditures. We can't sustain it, but don't worry about that. We'll make it all up out of the rich. The only problem with Democrats is that everybody that works for a living is rich, according to them. They say that all we got to do is bring the troops home and the world will leave us alone. They're the party that insults our generals and tries our troops in the newspaper. And when they're exonerated, they're on page 15 or 20. So what I meant was, if we stick to our basic principles, we'll win next November. But we've got to remember our first principles. The fact that what the Founding Fathers told us a long, long time ago, that our basic rights come from God, not from government, that we have a system of divided government, both state and local and state and federal level. We believe in free markets. We believe in free people. We believe in free enterprise, and Americans who work hard and play by the rules have a decent chance of living the American dream, just like I have and so many others have. That's the things that we have to keep in mind. Let's don't get diverted onto some single individual, whoever their nominee is. They're going to lead us down the road to a comfortable mediocrity, and that's not the United States of America I grew up in.
Senator Thompson, I want to go to the issue that you mentioned in passing just a couple of minutes ago, the solvency of Medicare and Social Security. You said those programs are threatened with bankruptcy. They indeed are, as countless economists have advised us. Yeah. If they were to be kept in their present form, it is argued that they could swamp the private economy with unacceptable levels of taxation or would force severe benefit cuts. You have stepped out on this, suggesting that we could change the indexing method for the growth of benefits in Social Security. You have said that we couldn't really afford the prescription drug bill that was passed under President Bush. You've talked about the possibility that high-income Medicare beneficiaries would have to accept less benefits. This is a hard area, as the President's adventure on this has shown. Are you prepared to say tonight that you would propose these things and make them part of your campaign?
Yes. As I think that you have stated them, yes. I don't want to be bound to your exact words, but the principles that you've outlined are absolutely correct. It's based on the notion that there's no reason to run for the presidency of the United States if you can't tell the truth. It's a difficult thing politically, but the fact of the matter is we're bankrupting the next generation. We're spending the money of our grandkids and those yet to be born. They don't have a seat at the table. Our present mandatory spending cycle leaves us in an unsustainable position. The comptroller tells us that. The Government Accountability Office, everybody that looks at it says it's unsustainable. Can you imagine something that's unsustainable and threatens our economy for our grandchildren and those yet to be born not being discussed more on the campaign trail? I've just set out a couple of things that I think will avoid future generational warfare, where we have to fight over a lot higher taxes or big benefit cuts. If we do some responsible things now, we don't have to do that. And the indexing of benefits in the future from wages to prices is one way to do that. Current retirees or those near retirement wouldn't be affected, and those retiring in the future would get the same benefits in real dollars as those retiring now, but not more.
All right. Violence escalated again today on the Turkish-Iraq border. The terrorist group PKK took Turkish soldiers hostage. If, as President Bush says, we're fighting terrorists in Iraq to protect our homeland, shouldn't the Turks be able to go into Iraq to protect their own?
Well, let's hope it doesn't come to that. I think the underlying point here is that Turkey is a friend of ours. We've got an important base there, and actually more than one, but one especially important as far as our efforts in Iraq is concerned. They've got a right to defend themselves from acts of terrorism, and PKK are terrorists. The Kurds in the northern part of Iraq are our friends too. So we've got to get these people together. It's one of those situations where we've got friends on both sides. But militarily and strategically, we have to understand Turkey's position. I hope that they don't invade. I think that this is one area where diplomacy could work, because you have two people or two countries, or two areas, I should say, that we're used to talking to and used to working with. But Turkey is a NATO ally, and they have helped us as far as Iraq is concerned. Not everything they do is pleasing to us, and we have some issues with them. And now Nancy Pelosi has brought up an Armenian genocide proposal, which is totally irresponsible. She's interjecting partisan politics into a matter of national security.